Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hi! What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of
Be Uplifted.
Ooh.
That sounds so cute. And look, like, I'm watching us in the play, in the screen.
Viewfinder,
yeah, and I'm like, look at us bringing it back OG.
I know. I honestly, there was a lot of people who were like, oh, I miss the old times of just you and Lani. Not saying we don't miss the boys because we love the boys, obviously.
They definitely add flavor.
Sorry, in the background visits.
The boys are like this in the background, but they know we love them.
Yeah, they go hard for us, and we love them just as much too.
And that's actually why we love them, because we can do things like this even as a team, and like they have their boys sometimes. It's like everybody just has such a love and respect for each other on the team. It's really awesome.
Right. Well, and then too, like, so the things that we're going to talk about today, I feel like it's something that a lot of women need to hear right now, especially with what's going on in the world currently about abortions and whatever.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. So I guess this is our time to introduce our topic then.
Okay. I can't do it. Boom, boom, boom.
So today's topic is
self-love.
Yes.
Dang, that one like hits right here, right? Because man, have we struggled with that? Right?
Oh, and still currently struggling.
Struggle. So let's put that out there first. I think, right? For me personally, the very first thing off the bat is I want to say self-love is like a never-ending process.
Oh yeah,
it's just a continuous, like, you're gonna find things that you want to continue to change and grow from yourself.
Right.
Just your whole life, I feel.
Yeah. And then kind of to elaborate that a little bit more, it's like because we've grown so much and, people change. There's obviously growth that we need to learn how to love ourselves in that stage in life.
Right. And I like how you put that, in that stage of life, because you grow and you're not always going to be that same person you were yesterday, and you have to love every stage of it. Right.
Yeah. And then life's going to throw some curveballs at you, so you just got to learn. But yeah, so, okay, I guess I'll hit this off too. Like, so if you guys have seen in our previous episodes, we've been talking about, like, we've been hitting the gym and we've been going hard at it, and I'm really proud of you for doing that.
I'm so proud of you too. And coincidentally, we didn't plan this. We just, we're catching up today because it's our filming day as a team. And she's like, I've been going to the gym. I'm like, bitch, me too. So we were like super excited for each other.
Yeah. And you look so good already too. So I'm really proud of you.
Oh my God, you're gorgeous. I'm like over here like, oh my God, girl, your butt though.
No, your butt. It feels like old times, doesn't it? Like when we were on Twitch, so it's kind of cool. But
anyway. I know, we're just missing our drink with the little, the rim.
Yeah.
That's the only thing missing.
With the chamoy.
Right, the chamoy. That's what I was thinking of.
If you've been riding with us for that long, make sure you guys put it in the comments.
Yes. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, so personally for me, I'm just going to put myself out there too, is that I've been on this journey because recently I lost myself, and I went through a lot of things recently. That's why you guys didn't see me on a couple of the episodes, is because I had a family member that recently passed. And that was kind of hard for me. And I didn't think it was going to be that hard because I've just been through so many deaths, probably every single year. So it's kind of weird stage in my life where it's like a lot of people are just passing and going, and then now that I'm also in this relationship where I see myself in for a really long time, he's seeing all the good and the bad. And it's just in general, I guess, to summarize, is I've been going through a lot of changes, with a new job, this new business, and then a healthy relationship for once, and then learning to accept and let go of people that I just don't.
That you've outgrown, basically.
I've grown, yeah. And then recently, kind of recently, I guess, last month or so, me and Jason got into a argument or whatever, and he's like, I've noticed that you're relying on me for your happiness. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I kind of got defensive at that point, because I was like, dude, I work. I'm sorry that whatever downtime I do have, I want to spend it with you.
Right.
So I was like, okay, and I took a step back, and if you watched our previous episode, the whole accountability thing.
Take a step back.
Yeah. Took the accountability, and I was like, you know what? I can see where he's coming from. And
sometimes that may be a lot of pressure on someone, right?
Yeah.
So you had to take a step back and understand that that was the pressure that you were putting on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's growth, because instead of being defensive and being like, what do you mean? Like, I love you. I want to spend time with you.
Great. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I was definitely like that at
we're
first.
still, growth doesn't mean like 100% turnaround,
right.
you know?
Right. But then I like reflected and I was like, okay, look, I love the job that I'm in currently. I love the people that I'm surrounded by. And what is it that's really not making me happy?
What are you searching for?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, I didn't love myself. I didn't love how I looked. I didn't love how I felt. I did not like how my clothes fit. I did not like how, like, I found out that, like, my boyfriend was going to the gym. All the people were going to the gym and like they're working on themselves. And I'm like, why the fuck can I do that? And if you heard in the previous episode too, Vince is like, bro, just go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, you're fucking right. You know, if I get hit.
We definitely talked about how like women, we are so deep in the emotional side that sometimes we make things more complicated than it needs to be. Right. Like, yeah, just go, you know?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your process in building your self-love, and like what kind of struck this chord in your brain where you were like, you know what, like I need to start prioritizing myself, and I need to, and more than just the gym, right? Like in every sense of the matter, like I need to put myself first and stop sacrificing my wants and needs.
What kind of like sparked it was, again, like I hate to put it out there like that, but it was until Jason really told me like, dude, you don't love yourself. You know, you're not. And I took the way how I interpret it as was, I lost my train of thought. I can't believe I just lost my train of thought. And I was like, I already know it's gonna be a banger. Just him basically telling me like, you're not happy. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have everything I wanted, you know? But I think it was knowing that like I was changing and I'm turning into a person that I didn't want to be that I was before in my previous relationship.
Ooh, okay. That's good self-awareness, you know, like seeing the signs like, oh, I'm doing that thing again. Yeah. And I need to break that cycle. That's really important. That's good.
Right. Oh, now I remember. Okay. It's I'm hurting somebody that I truly care and adore and love. And I hate to see that it was because it was my fault.
But yet you were blaming it on him because you were, you know, not taking accountability.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
It's still such a process for me. And I think it's so important to share that. Even you now, like I love that. So Lani was actually the one that came up with the idea of talking about this. And I said, you know what? There was a part of me, I'll be honest with you, I didn't tell her this, but there's a part of me that was like, I'm not ready to do that because I don't fully love myself yet, like the way that I should, right? But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I really love this topic because we are on that journey where it's both very relevant in our life right now. Yeah. And then on top of that, I want people watching us and people that watch this episode and listen to this understand that like, because, you know, people look at us and they're like, oh my God, you guys have it together. Like you fucking have the BUplifted podcast. You guys do your makeup. You have your Asanas and Co. You know, like you're fucking killing it. And like we're confident. We do these reels, you know, things like that. And it's like, no, we're still a work in progress. Like just because it looks a certain way on social media or we post certain things, it doesn't mean that behind closed doors we're not going through the same struggles as you out there that are watching, you know? Like, so this is part of the reason why I wanted to do this episode was to kind of just talk about it. And then also, you know, anybody that needed to hear something like this, it'd be a good outlet for them to hear, right?
Right, yeah. And then obviously we wanted to be relatable to people, you know? But yeah.
So to answer your question, like for me, my process is still happening. Like I've talked about it before on stream, even when it was just the two of us in the beginning, that like, you know, I had to really start being in my own way, you know, like I constantly said like, oh no, but nobody wants to listen to me. So why would I do that? Or nobody cares about that. And it's like, if that's something that you want to do, if that's something that's going to make you excel to that next version of who you want to be, you kind of just have to be like, I love myself enough to try. Right. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I'm like, I'm still fucking scared. I still struggle. I'm still insecure. But the journey is that I'm loving myself enough every day to try, you know?
Yeah.
And there's days that I don't want to try. It's like I watched this TikTok or reel or read somewhere where it was like, you know, growth is not like this. it's not like this. It's like this. It's like up and down, but it's like this constant up and down going up though, you know, like, and that's how it looks for everybody. But I think people think that like, it's just like this constant, and it's not,
right.
You know?
What do you feel like, what was something that was in you that triggered that, you know, you needed to do better?
So what you said really resonated with me, because that's exactly how I felt. It was just this feeling of like, this is not who I am. Like there's something inside of me that's unsettled, you know, something inside of me that doesn't feel good, even though things in my life are going well, you know, and it really is that like Jason, as much as it hurts to hear, like that's probably partially true for even me, you know, like I don't love myself enough because I'm not putting myself first enough to do things that bring me fulfillment and joy, you know, instead I'm getting mad at that person for not spending time with me, or that person for not giving me this and that, you know, and it's like, really, you should find that on your own, kind of like what Vince talks about all the time, right? Like you need to be 100, 100. And I think that's what me and you need and continue to try and work on, is being okay with just being us 100.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And then another thing too, I feel like, I don't know if it was for you, but for me was like, I just kept making excuses, and I used other things as a distraction.
Oh my gosh, yes. I resonate with that so much. Yeah, like being busy at work, right?
Yes.
And it's like distracting you from the real core of the issue, which is that you really need to fucking find peace within yourself, you know? Yeah, I feel that for sure.
And another thing with me too, I don't know if you feel this way, is that like, I've noticed that I started finding happiness in other people and making other people happy, that I forgot to put myself happy.
Yes, like you found fulfillment in like pleasing other people, or like doing things, and because you are such a caring person. I definitely know that about you, and I relate to that because I do the same. And it's like, oh, but we forget about us, and then we start building this resentment, and we don't even know it's building because we haven't been taking care of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where the bitterness comes from, which is what we're talking about, right? Where we're like, damn, this is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to feel.
Right.
You know?
And that's a good way to put it, is bitter. Like that's basically what it was. I turned bitter.
Right. Exactly. You're almost like this like dark cloud where you're just kind of like going through the motions, you know? And I think that's like, for me and you, it sounds like we're the same. Like it was just kind of like that light bulb moment of like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Because the gym too, even though it seems like such a little thing, it definitely relates, because it's like you're loving yourself enough to take that 1 hour a day to take care of you, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Fuck, I forgot my question. I need to think about it a little bit more, because it was a good question. I just can't remember right now.
So what do you think has been the biggest struggle or hindrance of you, you know, feeling that self-love? Like what is the biggest, you know, voice or lie in your head that you constantly have to shut down? Like, no, that's not true.
Well, for sure, myself, like, I'm gonna use the example of like the gym, right? So it's been like almost 3 weeks that I've been going. And I know that I'm making a change because my clothes are fitting differently. I can't fit in things. But then I'm like, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, dude, no, I still have this. I still have this. This doesn't look right. Blah, blah, blah. And like, that defeats me so much.
You're being overly critical.
Yes.
Your biggest critic, basically.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that, because it's like, even though you are making progress, we want it so badly to be faster than it is. So then you start to doubt yourself, right? Yeah, I get that. I can definitely relate to that. Yeah, you want that instant gratification, which is almost why you don't do it, because you're like, it's not going to happen fast enough, you know? So what's the point? Kind of a thing.
And I feel like the reason why it took me so long was because, again, I was making the excuses. I was scared of the process.
Yeah.
I was
the commitment.
Okay, right. And let me reword that, I guess. Like, I was scared to trust the process because the defeat, the voices in my head, the feeling like I'm scared to fail.
Right. I can totally agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel like it's also, I mean, I don't really know too much because we haven't like caught up in a while. But do you feel like it's more harder for you because you feel like other people are like relying on you and like waiting for you to, I guess, relying on you for that? Because you have kids, you have so much other situations that people rely on you and hold, like you're the rock.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Like I definitely feel that pressure for sure. And it makes it hard because sometimes it's like the pressure becomes so heavy that you just shut down, you know? And so that's where that whole like self-love has to fucking really come in and be like, no, bitch, like I know it feels hard, but at the end you're the one that wins if you do this, you know? Like don't give up on yourself, because that's basically what you're doing when you're letting the pressure get to you, right?
Right. So I guess this kind of goes into the question, like for me to you, is that what was it that I keep forgetting my questions, and I know I had banger questions because I'm just so in depth of what you're saying because it's speaking to my soul. But when you were, what were you just saying again about how you're talking to your soul? What was that you were just saying again? I can't even remember.
I just went blank too. I'm like, I don't know, what was I saying?
I can't even think about it. Well, what did you just say? I'm just trying to remember.
We're both having a brain fart moment, guys. This is where the ad's gonna start. And ad. Okay, so I have some notes of things I wanted to, we both took notes. So let's see. When dealing with self-doubt, what are some of your techniques that you use to kind of like shut that self-doubt out?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure it out. I think it's just like I found something that is pushing me to it amazes me each day. So like even if I go like me, okay, I keep saying I'm going to the gym because that's basically one of the biggest things that I've done besides trying to change my mindset.
And that's a big deal. I mean, to stay committed to that. That's why like when people are gym people, I'm like, that's a dedicated person right there.
It's a lifestyle. Like,
it really is.
I think that was something I needed to understand was it's not just a temporary thing. It's a lifestyle. What was your question again?
Like when you have self-doubt, like what are some techniques you use to shove that self-doubt, to like shut that down?
I'm very open, communicative with Jason. I've told him like, hey, like I need to let this out before I get home. And I give myself a time limit. Right. So
that's good.
From going from when I get off work to by the time I get home for us to go to the gym or whatever we're doing, I'm like, okay, that's the time where I can weep. And then be done with it. Like whether you got to vent it out or you need to like cry it out or whatever, like let it all out. And then after that, be done with it.
Oh, I like that. That's smart. Yeah. Give yourself like a 5-second rule or a 10-minute rule or whatever it is. That's good. I like that technique. That's really good.
What about you?
I've said this before on stream, but really and truly, and maybe it's bad that it had to take that, but it really is that I have kids, you know, like I 100% know what it felt like growing up and even now just continually fighting this like confidence thing and this insecurity thing and this self-love thing. And so I tell myself like, how would I feel if I saw or heard my daughters not loving themselves or doubting themselves like I do? So it forces me to like show this confident person so that they will have that same confidence. You know what I mean? Because I can't tell my daughter, you're beautiful. You know, when you look in the mirror, make sure you're beautiful. If I stand in front of the mirror and I go, oh, I look ugly. You know what I mean? I can't do that in front of them or else they're going to emulate that. So I have to like, and then not only that, but like, you know, I have this platform, although it be very, very small on social media where I preach about self-love, you know, and I preach about uplifting others, and that keeps me accountable too. So that's like, at the end of the day, it might be like stupid Instagram to some people, but for me, it's a platform to remind other women, which forces me to remind myself to have that self-love, you know?
Yeah. So it sounds like it's more than just a physical thing now for you. It's also like a mindset.
Yeah, I'm trying, and the mindset is the hardest part, right?
Is.
Yeah, like the gym thing, like you said, is super. Like it takes a lot of commitment, and takes a lot of mental strength, but then to get past that and do the mindset thing is even harder. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I think people also just need to find that support. Like for me too, I've always made that excuse. Like, no, like why would they care? Like just what you say, you know, why would they care? Like why does it matter or whatever? But like there's really people out there that want to support you and want to
see you win, right?
Yeah.
That's true. And to realize that, I think that's where self-love even comes in even more, is to realize that like there really are people that are in your corner, you know?
Right. Yeah. I guess so for you, besides, what are some things that you feel like mindset that helped you change that besides your kids?
A lot of it, like what we talked about a little bit earlier is just how I felt, like I just got tired and I'm still tired, which is why I'm continuing to push myself of just feeling like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, why, instead of like being this fucking sad sap all the time, I'm like, you know what, if something kind of like, especially because we have these guys on our stream, right? And they Queer Rich and Vince, they're amazing because they give us this perspective of like, well, if you don't like it, then fucking change it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I don't like how I feel. What does it take? Well, love yourself more to do this, and this. You know what I mean? So that helps with the mind frame or the mindset. And then I'm like a really, really big believer in like my faith in God and like thinking that like there is a purpose that's bigger than just me doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's something bigger that I'm meant for, and I have to really believe that in myself, Right. What about you? Same question.
It's crazy that you say the whole purpose thing because literally, like, no fucking lie, this past weekend I had an event, and as stressful and as hard work it was, like I was driving home and I told myself like, this is my purpose.
Yeah, and to feel that is amazing.
It is, yeah. And I mean, it sucks because I'm like, oh, it's because I did services for other people. But no, I felt good at the end of the outcome of it.
Well, because you did that, like, and you're investing in yourself in this business, and that's amazing. Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. How would you define like self-love?
I think self-love doesn't just come, well, obviously the obvious, right? Like the pampering, the nails, the hair, like, okay, yeah, that's one aspect. That's one very shallow aspect of it, to be quite honest.
Right.
But I think self-love is also understanding what's best for you, even when it's hard. So if letting go of that relationship is what's best for you, then you need to do that. If going on that diet is what's going to be best for your health, then you need to do that. If taking accountability for the fucking behaviors that you need to change needs to happen so that you can be better and grow as a person. So basically anything that requires you to be better as a person and help you thrive and grow as a person, you need to do that. That's self-love.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because if you were to ask me that question back, like you literally took the words out of my mouth, but then also I would add like you need to understand like and believe in yourself first, because if you don't believe in yourself first, nobody else is going to believe you.
And it's so funny because you hear that growing up, right? And you don't believe it. You're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, believe in yourself. But like obviously like now in hindsight it's like, no, that's actually legit. If you're listening to it, that's legit. Like you have to fucking believe in yourself, or it's just you're really not going to get anywhere. Your mindset and your words hold so much power,
Well, and that too, like when other people were telling me and I was trying to tell myself that, and I was trying to because for me, I need to break it down. Like I can't just be like flat out, okay, well, how do I figure that out? How do I get to that point? What does that mean for me,
Right.
And it's just, and I'm still trying to figure that out, but I feel like for me to get to that point, I wrote down pros and cons about what I like about myself and what I don't like about myself. And even if it's as little as like, oh, I love my eyes. Well, if you love your eyes and that makes me feel good about myself, well then do eyeliner or put makeup on or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something that like
makes you feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even
I like that you put it even in small perspectives, that's amazing.
Yeah. Cause I feel like we kind of talked about it a little bit on our previous episode. It was like, I want to celebrate the smalls to get to the big.
That's a really good point. That's a really good lesson. I like that. Clip that. Just kidding.
Dang, I feel like Vince a little bit.
Right? We'll add that to the vault. Vince's going to be like, no, it wasn't from me.
Right? Yeah, it's such a process. And I feel like shit that people don't tell you about this is that it's a journey.
Right. Like you see on social media, like, all these women winning, new cars, big careers, fancy trips. And it's like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but understand that it took so much to probably get there. You know what I mean? Like obviously there's those ones that are like spoiled and whatever. But most of the time these women have like that story, in the background about having to get there,
Right.
Like rising like a phoenix or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, like a lot of us need to have that mentality of like, well, if they can have that Me Too, the whole Me Too movement,
Yeah.
And And I think that's what also helped me too, was just understanding like, hey, if that girl who, you know, weighs more than me or whatever can go to the gym every single day, or can like cut down on whatever, you know, meal, whatever the case is, right? If they can do it, why can't I?
Right. And I think that goes along with also like societal or society standards, right? Like for me, sometimes that makes me take or doubt my self-love. Like, oh, is it too late for me? Am I too old for that? You know, and it's like, that's another factor that I think needs to be taken away and people need to be mindful of. And something that helped me was like, well, fuck society's standards. Like, I'm going at my pace and it's okay for you to go at your pace too, you know?
That's a really good point. I want to like emphasize that is like everybody has their own marathon and everybody has their own pace on
Their
how
own
to
journey.
to get there. And whether it takes you 2 years, whether it takes you a week, whatever it is, like, again, celebrate the small moments to get to the big moments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you feel like is something that you can say that you're really proud of yourself to where you were at from finding out that you know you needed to change to now?
This I always say this because it's just something I'm so proud of, because if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have put myself in front of a camera and started talking transparently about my life and using it as a platform to try to like help people, I would have been like, ain't nobody gonna listen to you, bitch. You know, so this is something I'm very proud of. And then the makeup thing and like putting myself out there, because I mean, I've shared it on here before, like I didn't learn makeup until like my mid to late 20s. And then like, I was like, who's going to give two fucks about that? But then now it's like something that's like a part of me that people know, you know, and that's pretty cool. So,
and you were so beautiful too. Like whoever needs to tell you more often, or you need to go in the mirror and do self affirmations or something. But like, you are an amazing person.
I'm not going to cry. What about you?
I'm slowly creating a life that I've always wanted for myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That alone right there, that's a mic drop.
Thank
you know?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just felt like I lived in somebody's shadow for so long, and I was so used to someone telling me how to live my life and when to do it, that currently within the past, 2 years or so, like I'm learning that I didn't know that this was my plan for my life, and who knows, maybe it could change in the next few years, but currently like I am really happy with what I'm doing in my life currently.
You can finally say that you're proud of yourself, and that's amazing, because I know that that's hard for like us to say that, you know. So
for sure.
I think for me a big thing too is just the fact that I understand that I should love myself.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like back then it's like, nah, like I don't like that shit's cheesy, or like, no, I don't deserve that, or I don't have time for that. I'm taking care of this, this, and this. And it's like, no, it fucking matters. Like you have to understand that loving yourself and believing in yourself really does matter.
Yeah. And then I also want to quote Queer Rich a little bit, because he's like, stop using all these other excuses as crutches to get to where you want to be.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Why are they always so smart, those guys?
Because they're logical and we're emotional. Oh, man. But it's true. It's so true, you know. And another thing, too, is like I want to put myself accountable. Accountable, not only just for you, but for others, too. Like I know everybody has something that they're dealing with.
Yeah. And
I feel like I need to reach out more to those people, like, for example, like you, and just do like small check-ins. So I'm going to hold myself accountable now that whoever pops into my head, I'm going to text them and just be like, hey, I thought about you. Hope you're having a good day.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I need to do that more too. I think, I don't know. I just feel weird. Like, I guess I feel weird, like reaching out to people, and I need to believe that people actually want to hear from me. That's also self-love. You know? Yeah.
For sure. And I feel like for those who really do care and who really do fuck with you, like they'll either say thank you or thumbs up or something.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like,
that's true.
It's something that I think all of us need to help each other with.
So if you could give someone watching this some closing advice on how to develop a better mindset of self-love, what would it be?
Have patience with yourself, and you know within yourself, like when it's time to make that change.
Right.
Whether it's a traumatic experience or how you're feeling, how you're looking, whatever the case is like only you know within yourself that it's time.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
Definitely second that for sure. Yeah. And then kind of just echoing what I said earlier, which is, patience, but also give yourself grace and understand that like, what did I say earlier? That you're going at your own pace, and that it's not going to be easy, but small victories, like you said, are still victories.
Oh, so. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we also need to hold ourselves accountable for things too, just like we've been talking about before, but I just like referring to that because it's legit, it's real facts shit. Okay, so let's do something different that we never have done before. Okay. Let's just start off small because again, small things turn into big things, like small challenge or small. What did I fucking say? I don't remember.
Small victories.
Yeah, small victories for
girl. That good thing outcomes. I
said. Okay, so I'm going to hold myself accountable and text you for let's start off small, like 5 days, and either tell you an affirmation or something that I'm really proud of you of.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge myself for that because besides
something that you're proud of yourself of.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we should both do that. We'll keep each other accountable, and then on my end, we have to both text each other something we're grateful for that day.
Oh, okay.
So just to always have a heart of gratitude, and then to always have a mindset of self-love.
Yeah.
Ooh, we are cute.
Just so kidding. Find you a friend who will hype you up.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I really loved this. I mean, I know it was kind of short, but
I think it's what we needed now, and I hope that it resonates with anybody that's listening and watching. And I really enjoyed taking it back to, the OG Lani and Aurie day.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you guys want to see more of these or you miss the boys, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
You know how to find us. We're on all podcast audio platforms, so make sure you guys like, rate, comment, subscribe, all that, even to our YouTube page. And
and be sure to check us out on Instagram, on the BUplifted Instagram. That's where you're gonna get all of the updates, a lot of the little clips and teasers, and the links to basically where you can follow us. So make sure you peep into that, check into that.
All of that.
I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Oh, and don't forget to get 10% off their meals. Let them know.
If you're in the San Diego area and you're looking for a meal prep company, hit up Mikey's Meals and use our promo code TheBabes10 for 10% off your first order.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.